Hello and welcome to my development diary for Mongoose Traveller on Foundry Virtual Tabletop. So today I'm going to go over some of the new features in the last couple of versions I've pushed out. So 0.11.7 went out earlier in the week and 0.11.8 went out today. So there's a number of new features, some bug fixes, etc. But I'm going to sort of mostly go over the features I've added in and sort of in no particular order. So let's sort of take a look. So first of all, I've been doing some work on macro support. So if we start by selecting someone, let's let's open her up. Go to open up a journal. So here I've got a journal entry. I'll go back to the chat window, and what we have here are some embedded macros, basically. So we can start off. We can make a click on that, make a skill check, and Bobby will roll against a target of 8. She rolls a 6, so that's a failure. And you can see here she is making an admin skill check against a target of 8. And if we open up the editor, we can see we've got the /mg macro command calling a skill check macro. That's the name of the macro, and that's the target you're rolling against. And we can also roll against a speciality skill just by mentioning the parent dot lower skill. All relatively straightforward. And here we've got something slightly different. It's just plain text, or not plain text, but it's a sort of textual description. If we click that, we're actually rolling. It's exactly the same as this, but what we've added in at the end in the journal entry, we've got a piece of text which it will replace in here. So it basically allows you to make skill checks directly from the journal. So if you've got a adventure or sort of notes or something, and you've got sort of want to note down sort of skill checks that can be made, then you can sort of run them directly from here without having to open up a character. By the way, for those who don't know, I mean, this is a standard Foundry feature. Where's my examples? Let's take Bobby. Let's sort of put her in there. Save that. You can open up character sheets directly from a journal. You can do the same with items and things like that. But that's all standard Foundry. That's not anything I've done. So where did this macro come from? It's we click it. So this is one that's shipped as part of the Mongoose Traveller system, just as a sort of example. So we can read parameters via scope, and then we can basically just have some sort of JavaScript in there. We've got grab a list of the controlled tokens, i.e. selected tokens, and for each one grab their skill, grab their skill value, and this is very basic. There's probably better ways of doing that, making a call directly to the skill check option, but this is just an example of something to do. I'll be updating it over time to improve things. We close that down. So we select but 2 characters. Actually, I haven't tried this, so this will be interesting. Right, customized visuals. so the anarchist and Bobby both rolled. So yeah, you can select multiple characters and roll them, both of them. So let's select. That's closed everything. That's not very useful. Macro test is what I want. So, and we want to open up Bobby. Let's look at her equipment list. And we've also got a create item here, and yep, you can do that. So again, there's a create item macro, which is very simple. It will just sort of, for that actor, it will create a new item on their character sheet. There's no reason you couldn't add in specific names and things. So again, if you wanted to make it easy to add items to characters, you can do that directly from the macro. So we've also got another type of macro, which is slightly different. So if we take a look at here, open up the chat window, what we got, we can sort of say click on science. It'll ask us in the chat to select a speciality, so let's choose physics, and physics has just popped up, and we can actually, as you can see, that will increase that character skill. We've got flyer 1, so that will give the character a skill of flyer 1. If we select it again, it won't, because it's specifically giving flyer 1. So the sort of syntax here is similar to what's in the career tables when creating characters, and the purpose of this is that it would be possible to have a journal entry which describes different options for character generation. So let's go to a compendium pack. So this is a compendium pack you do not have, because it's my own personal one. What do I want? Not base, extra docs. So I've got some examples here. So for example, I could embed these macros into each of these. You could just click on those after rolling, and it would automatically give your character a skill rather than having to go onto the character sheet and do it by hand. These here are using the MG macro, which will call a named macro within your macro folder. MgT2e will call an internal macro. So it's an internal macro. That's something that's not available to players and GMs for editing. It's sort of built into the core system, and it allows me to create macros which do specific tasks and which are sort of internal to the system. So for things like gaining a skill during character generation, this is a very specific macro for doing that. So I'll probably be adding more of these over time and improving them. Similarly, the skill check macros, they are part of the where are we base macros. So they're part of this, and they'll be available within that compendium, and they may change over time. So if you want to take your own copies and modify them, you can, but be aware the base ones may well get improved as time goes on. So that's those macros. So we got one other thing I've done with journals. So if we go to actor test, you can see what we've got here is some stat cards for a couple of NPCs. This is actually text, and we go and look at here. Yep, it's it matches the NPC's character sheet. If we have a look at the source code, yep, all we've got is /actor, and we've got an actor ID, and what that does is it goes and fetches the information for a given NPC, and it will build a stat card in the sort of style that Mongoose uses for its adventures. So you can, well, mostly, I've got an embedded character image there. If you click on that, it will open up the full image, which you can then show to players. But yeah, we've got a list of skills, characteristics, and sort of list of equipment. I do want to make it possible to sort of click on these and automatically roll skills and use weapons and things from here, but that's something to do for another day. But yeah, so this just makes it a bit nicer if you're creating journal entries and you want to sort of embed some character descriptions in there, either for sharing to players or for your own use. So you've got a selection of them without having to sort of need to go to the actor bar over here on the right. So what else can we do? So also around adding items, we've now got an add item drop down, and you can automatically create items from the character sheet. This is something individual players can do. So if they want to, say, create a I don't know, random piece of equipment which they want to have been, carry around with them, they can do so. Or other equipment, binoculars or whatever, survival gear. They just want to sort of be able to add it in without needing to create, without the GM needing to create specific examples of everything within their own compendiums. You can just allow players to add in whatever they want. Extra addition on character sheet. You've got now got a little cogwheel up here on the damage box. If you click this, you can add in new characteristics into here. So if you want to be able to do damage to the non 3 core physical stats, you can do so. It works just much like the other ones. The physical stats do. You can add damage to them. So if you're taking int damage or EDU damage or taking modifiers to luck or psionics or whatever, then you can do that relatively easily. This was possible previously by you could write a macro to do it, but yeah, now it's possible to do directly from the character sheet. It used to be the case that I think sight and luck used to automatically appear on here if you added them to the sheet. So if we go down here, you can that's sight and morale. Some of these things used to automatically appear. Now they don't. The only ones that automatically appear will be strength, dex, and endurance. But yeah, this should make it easier for controlling what you can do damage to or not. Whilst we're on this tab, we now display active effects along here. This is sort of very basic, but it displays what active effects are currently in use for this character. So if we hover over, it gives a bit more information on where it's come from. So that one, comes from the admin augment +4 and that sort of thing. If we move that to stored, go back, and yeah, a lot of them are now disappeared. We've just got the melee one, which is coming from the melee enhancer. So you can makes it easier to see what's in effect and what's not. I put this in mostly to help myself in some debugging. So it's currently there as mostly as a debug aid, and but it's free for everyone else to use. I'll probably expand upon it to make it a bit more capable at a later point. But for those who are using active effects and augments and things, I'm aware there are some issues with them, mostly around on applying them to tokens. As far as I can tell, they work on characters. So if you apply them to characters from the main sheet, it will work. If you've got a linked token, it will work. But if you've got a token which isn't linked to the character and you apply augments to them, then they don't always work as desired. But that's something I need to look into. So something else. Let's stick to character sheets. So we've now also one of the supplied what they call macros is a cover macro. So if you click on that, so I've actually got the anarchist selected. So it comes up a little dialog. You can select type of cover. You have click OK, and it will add an in cover status to your token. This will give you armor. So if we make an attack, damage, okay, it's a miss, damage 13. If we bring that damage up to here, it says damage doesn't penetrate. Was that because we're wearing battle dress? Yeah, that would explode. Yeah, so let's get rid of that battle dress. And let's try again. Okay, so they've taken 7 points of damage. Damage was 13. They sort of, that being in cover has allowed them to resist some of that damage. So you can automatically apply that cover effects. You can go take a look at Bobby, who's a traveller character. Okay, she's got no actual armor. So if we give her, she's hiding behind a civilian vehicle. So if we drag that armor, it will say up here when you apply the damage that she's got 10 points of cover armor. Got any? She puts on that armor. Oh, that armor's got no. That's 5 close. So technically she should now have 15, and yeah, so it's sort of correctly stacking protection from cover with protection from armor. Now there's also a prone option, so you can make someone prone, which means that people have -1 to hit them. That doesn't get automatically calculated. It's really just there as a reminder. Likewise, cover gives you -2 to hit someone. That won't be automatically sort of calculated in any of the to hit rolls or anything, but it's there as a reminder. And lastly, so if we go to our compendiums, so there is a base items compendium which is included in the system. If we go there, there's now a trade goods folder. Open that up, you'll see there is a full list of trade goods, and they have all the data set on them. So you can, yeah. So that's Mongoose have allowed me to now ship these as part of the core system. This will make it easier for implementing a trade system and worlds and things like that. I do intend to do that. Exactly when, not quite sure yet, but it's on the roadmap. So we have a ship. We go to our bays, go to the cargo bay. You can sort of just drag trade goods onto there when when players buy stuff. If you want to randomly generate how much, you can click that, and that's the sort of amount you randomly get at starports. But yeah, the actual trade rules aren't yet implemented. Now, something else that's been done. So I think I've talked about critical hits on spacecraft before. So we've got a whole load of criticals. We can fix those. Crew fire turret. So let's shoot it ourselves. Yeah, so drag some damage up here. We can see we've got damage to the cargo hold, damage to the M drive. Done. Okay, so yeah, this will say that it sort of destroyed some of the cargo, and it also says we've now got piloting -1. So there's now a repair option on a crew role. So if we go down to here, you can see under the special actions, we now have a repair system option. And rather than just saying, yep, I repaired it by clicking on there, if you click on that crew action, it will tell you what your current criticals are and also what ship damage is. And you can click on that. It will work out what that character's skills are, and it will make a repair roll. So it failed. So succeeded that time, and it's gone. Technically, those damages should only go temporarily. I don't currently track that. I just get rid of it at the moment. So tracking the fact that you get a bonus to repairing something every time you attempt, that hasn't been implemented yet. And sort of the fact that that bonus gets wiped out if you take more damage, that hasn't been implemented yet. But yeah, so there's still some stuff to go, but I'm sort of gradually adding more support for spacecraft combat as time goes on. So I believe that's everything. So all of this should be available out there now on version 0.11.8. If you find any bugs, feel free to add them into the GitHub repo, or send me the details to me on Discord, or however you like to sort of contact things. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and that's it for now.